So yes, for today's video, we will be creating another DIY display case with where's my ruler? It's here in the front. Sorry. As you can see, I saw the design and I thought it needed more oomph. Hello, it's me, Mimim, and welcome to my world. So for today's video, this is a continuation again from our unboxing. If you guys have been watching my channel, this is what I do. I unbox my figures, my set of figures, and then I create a DIY display case for them. So yes, for today's video, we will be creating another DIY display case and I'm quite excited for this one, you guys. This design is inspired by the figures, of course, plus my boyfriend's love for F1. So yeah, that is a clue for today's design. And what are we waiting for? Let's jump right in. Alright everyone, so here are the things that you would need for this DIY. Let's start with the basics. So for the basics, you would need some pens. This is a gel pen, a 0.5 gel pen, a pencil. We would be busting out our drawing skills for this DIY, and some glitter pen just to have something that would show up in black surfaces just for marking and stuff. And then some erasers because, just to correct the mistakes. And then you would need some colored pencils as well. I chose the 24-piece set because it has a flesh colored pencil. You would know what would be the purpose for that one later. And then you would need some paints. The white one, some white paint. Okay guys, so here are the extra things that you would need for this DIY project. Let's start with this one. This is a white cartolina paper, but this is like a poster paper, I guess, because it is thicker. I chose this one because there would be a lot of painting, a lot of gluing, and I have found that having like a great base for those would be a great deal of like support for the design. I have here a sky blue cartolina paper, and then the specialized paper that I have here is this grass paper right here. I have used this kind of grass paper for another project of mine. I could show it here and you can watch that project as well. And then you would need some foam. This is like those things that you would use for cosplayers and stuff, things that you can use for slippers. So this is just a regular foam. It's this thick, and you would need this one for like a section in the design. Just not a lot of it, just actually this amount of foam would do. And then let's go on for these right here. These are sands, colored sands that I have. I have used these again for like different projects of mine in the past. I could put some of them right here. But the lesson here is you would just need one pack, you guys, and it would go the way, like all the way, because you can just save it, and use it for different designs and different projects. But yeah, I need these two for today. And then these are the DIY things, or I mean the miniature things that you would need. This is a really cool, really cute 3D printed gate as you can see. Hopefully you can find these, but you can DIY these with some wires and stuff, but I just chose to buy a ready-made one for this design. And then another thing is these right here, like these are those traffic cones and stuff, like on the side, like traffic barrier. And then you would need some of this. This is something new that I incorporated for this design, for this DIY project. These are like lights, you guys, that I would have to rig myself. This is a battery pack, a two AAA battery pack, as you can see right here. So you would need some AAA batteries, two AAA batteries, and you would connect it to these lights right here, because in the past I have bought some lights but they're already wired, but for now I can't find these wired already, so I have to do it myself. And then another thing is this stencil right here for letters and numbers. I actually don't know if I would be using this today, but we'll see throughout the process. But if I would end up using this, you would need this to recreate the project. So for my last project, I really went outside of the box and I did not use a display case for that project. But for this project, we're going back to the base where I would need a display case. And I have, again, made a lot of projects for this one. I actually like having a display case because there would be like a base for you to work on and build your design on, and it would just look like a little small world on the display case with all of the figures inside, and they just look like they belong there because the design is specifically in there. So it's like a capsule of a world. But yeah, these are the components for the display case. This is the bottom part. And then this is the upper part with the lights on. Just a review of the parts if you have already forgotten. And then this display case is just 2 steps and then 1 step like at the bottom. So you would just need like a 2-step display case for this one. And then here are the acrylic parts, like for the stairs, for the side of the display case, for the door, and the back part, like the background part of the display case. So yeah, I am so excited to build up a design that is specifically for our Laid Back Tomorrow Skullpanda series. But let's get started, you guys. Okay, so I have laid down like a rubber mat here just to save my table from cuts and scratches. And then the first step is you would need your light blue cartolina paper. And for this step, we would also need your ruler, your pencil, and the cutter. Or you could use also the scissor, but I think I'll just use the cutter for this portion. Okay, so you would need to cut down your blue cartolina paper by 162 millimeters, which is this part right here, the opposite of the inches, and then 162 height, and then 300.5 millimeters for the length. I would need to measure again 162 for the width right here. I mean the height. I just need to mark different parts of the cartolina paper with 162 just to make sure that we're drawing a straight line, because I can get a little annoyed when the line is quite crooked. And then you would need again 300.5 millimeters for the length. Right there. And I need to close this out. Make sure that it's also 162. Perfect. And voila. This is the portion that you would need. You would just need to cut like one part of this, like one sky blue cartolina paper. And then what I do to make it faster, you can again use a pair of scissors, but what I would do is I would just have the ruler right here and just use the cutter because it would be so much quicker to cut this out. Just make sure that your cutter is sticking to the ruler side. Every millimeter in this project matters, you guys. All right, you have this one. Okay, now that we've got one piece of this, let's put this to the side for now. And then you would need your white cartolina paper. I just cut out a piece of it because it was so big and it would be overwhelming to the camera. But basically, you would just need two pieces of the same measurement for this paper right here. So again, 162 by 300.5 millimeters. Let's again measure it. All right. And then just like the sky blue cartolina paper, you would just need a cutter or a scissor to cut this out. Again, two pieces for this white cartolina paper. Besides those two smaller pieces, you would need a bigger piece like this one for the background. And for this one, I've already cut it out, but the measurement again for this one is for the length, it is 300.5 millimeters. And then for the height, it is 240 millimeters. So again, 240 millimeters for the height and 300.5 for the length. And again, this is for the background and we'll get to that later. Just put it to the side. Okay, so for this next part, you would need your miniature grass paper over here. So again, this is the front part of the paper. There is something stuck in there, but this is the back part. So you can draw your shapes and sizes on this part. So you would need to draw on this part right here. But I have pre-cut out all of these pieces because it would take some time because you would need a lot of them, you guys, a lot of pieces right here. So you would need 4 pieces of this grass right here for the measurement of let me see again, 56 millimeters for the length and for 73 millimeters for the height. So 4 pieces for this one. And then you would need these 4 long pieces right here that would measure 22 millimeters for the length, and for the height you would need 162 millimeters for the height. We will use all of these. I would just need to have all the cutting process at the first part just so to make it easier for you guys. And that's it for the grass paper. Let me put this to the side. Okay, so while we are in the cutting part, let's just proceed to do the simplest step for this DIY project for the top part of the display case. So you would need your pieces right here, 1 piece of the blue cartolina paper, and then you would need 1 piece of your white cartolina paper, the thick one. Just put this to the side, and you would need to cut out this shape right here because that's the light, you guys. So we would need to cut that out just to make sure that the light would still shine when the display case is assembled. So what I do is, this is the wire, right? I connect this to a power bank of mine. I have a power bank right here to the side. I would just connect it like so, and then just turn it on like that, just so that I could have a guide to cut. Make sure that the sides as well are not covering these notches right here. And again, the back part does not cover also the notches on the back. You would need your pencil and your ruler right here. So again, using the light, you would just need to draw a line for the light right here. Just starting with the straight lines. Make sure you're not cutting out or like drawing over the light or really outside the light line. Okay, so I have those two lines like so. Let me show you guys. I have those two lines, and then the next part is you would just need to connect those and draw the curve part. And there, we're done. So we would need to cut this out. Okay, again, we have our sky blue paper right here with the drawing that we had to outline the light. And then you would need your cutter and your ruler again. But for this one, I am using this cutter right here for the curved part of the light. So again, you would just need your ruler, align it to the line, and make sure, please make sure that you would align them correctly. Okay, that's one side, and then the other side like so. Okay, as you can see right here, the sides are already cut precisely like what we wanted to. And then now you would proceed with this cutter, but you can cut this out again with the scissor because you already have a portion for it to go in. But for now, I'll just use this cutter. Again, this is optional, and I would just go around with this one right here. It makes it easier because you can turn the blade with ease because of the ball joint of the cutter. Like so. You've already cut out the curved part, and just do it to the other side as well. Okay, now that we've cut out this entire thing, look at that. It can align to the light now. And then get your cartolina paper with the same size as this one and just glue this in. Where's my glue? Right here. Just glue this part right here to the white cartolina paper. Again, this is just to have like a support because this part is quite thicker than this blue cartolina, so that you would just have a solid design to stick to the upper part, and it would look like this one right here. So I've already cut this out and glued it onto the white part. And again, just do the same thing for this part right here. Line up your ruler and then use your cutter and this one. Again, for the curved part, you can just use your scissor when you already have a cutout to the sides. Okay, let's proceed to the next step, which is for the steps of the display case. This is basically the main design that will be repeated a lot of times for the different parts of the display case. So that's why I'm starting with this one. And then you would need to have both of these painted to black just to have like a a base. So you would need a black paint right here, and you would need your brush like so. Just a little tip, you would need to paint these in one stroke like so. Get it dried and then apply around 2 to 3 times the coat just to make it opaque black. Okay, I'll paint this to the side and I'll show you the results. Okay, so here is the step, all painted black. As you can see, it's all opaque. The wood part is showing right here, but paint every single part of it. The top part, the bottom part, and also all the sides, as you can see. The next part for this one is you would need your masking tape, your ruler, and your glitter pen right here, just to have some guides for the measurement. You would need 22 millimeters like so here. Draw it from the edge of one side. Get your glitter pen, have it marked right so, and then another 22. So again, these are just guides, you guys. I don't know if you could see it in the screen, but I have guides. And then use your masking tape, and then you would need to align one side of the masking tape to the lines that you have made like so. This step is to make sure that no other glue or paint would be going beyond the line that we have created. Okay, just fold that in so you already have a division. Just make sure that you would cover the front part, the upper part, and the back part. Don't worry about the bottom part. Okay, just make it aligned like so. So that's already a guide. And then you would need to do the other side as well. Okay, so we have already put our masking tape on both sides of the step. Just again, make sure that the lines here are all crisp, just to make sure that there's no bubbles right here and that no glue would be seeping through the line, because yes, you'll be needing your glue right here, and again, your paintbrush. We'll be putting glue on the top part of the steps and the front part of the steps as well. When doing like this part, use your glue. Just put enough, not a lot of glue, because if you put a lot of glue in there, it would turn into chunks. So just put enough glue and just spread it around with your brush, already wet, because if your brush is not wet, it would suck up a lot of the glue. Okay, but before we put our glue on top of our steps, we would need our sands right here, your black sand and your gray sand. For this part, you would need to mix 2 parts of the black and then 1 part of the gray. So I need to mix them to have like a quite quote-unquote realistic look of the road. Okay, I'll show you the look of these two mixed. Okay, so I have 2 containers right here. The first container is a smaller one, and this is where I mixed the black part and the gray sand. The black sand and the gray sand. But I don't know if it can be seen in the camera, but that's the perfect blend for me of the black and the gray, because it looks like a tarmac. And you would need a bigger container right here to catch any sand that we put here. So again, you'll put glue on the top part, and the front part, just make sure to do them in batches. So the first part is the top part. You'll be putting glue and then just sprinkling this sand right over here, and then this container would catch any sand that would fall off, and then you could reuse the sand from here and then just reuse it. Okay, I have done that part just for the time, because it would be time consuming, and I'll show you that part like so right here. So I've already covered no, that's the back part. This is the front part, and this is the top part of the steps. So it does, no, I don't know if it shows in the camera perfectly, but it does look like a tarmac with different material showing to the surface, and I don't know, but it does look so cute for me. And then the purpose for the masking tape is to have a clean line. Oh my god. That's such a clean line. And again, that's the purpose of the masking tape. Let's remove the other side as well. There you go. That's so cute. The lines are quite crisp. That is so satisfying for me. But yeah, we'll be doing another part for this step. Let me just clean up my table. Okay, now that we have again our step right here, you would need these pieces right here. So this part would be for the sides, like so. So it's like a tarmac, and then the grass on the side. It's so cute. But for this part right here, there's a lot of measurements that you would need. So as you can see, we have measured 22 millimeters, like so, and then just draw a line vertically, like so, and then decide which side is the front part and the back part, because the front part is right here for me, and that's measured 18 millimeters, and then just draw a line like so to cut off the front part. And then you would have this rectangle right here, and just get like the middle of this triangle right here. So you would have this, you would have like opposites for this one, for each side. As you can see, they're opposites. And the purpose for this one is, again, for the front part, it would be covering the front part of the step, like so. And then the complicated part right here, why we need to get like the center part of this one, is for the lights. So you would need to have a hole in here just to push the light through. Let me show you the light that we got right here. It's so cute, you guys. Look at that. It's so cute. There's 4 lights. 4 lights, right? Yeah, 4 lights. So cute. And then each light has a blue and red wire, like so. So each light, and then you would connect it to the battery pack, like so. So this is the red wire, and this is the black wire. The black wire goes with the blue wire. Okay, so all blue wires you would need to separate like so. And then all the red parts or red wires also goes one way, and then you would connect them individually, like so. So you just need to peel some of these wire coverings, and then I just twist it out just to get this powered. But yeah, you'll just again push this through to the grass, and then this would be lit up using the battery pack. So you can imagine Let me put this together like so. And then in the middle would be the light. It's so cute. It would come through after I put it all together, but it does look so promising, you guys, and I'm quite excited. But again, we made this step right here because this theme or this design would be repeating on a lot of parts of the display case. Okay, besides the grass part and the light part for the steps, you would also need your miniature barriers right here. So you would need two for each side of the step. So they would go onto the tarmac like here. I don't know if you could see the vision, you guys, but it looks so cute. Hopefully it does come together, and I'll be showing off that in the last part. But yeah, that's the idea, you guys. There would be two on each side like so. Can you imagine it? It looks so cute. But yeah, let's proceed to the other parts. Okay, so the next part is we'll be designing the bottom part of the display case. So get your white cartolina again. Again, we cut out two pieces of this. As I have said, the step design is reoccurring to the different parts of the display case. So you would need to have these two grass chips right here just to cover the sides. So just like the steps, there would be this grass side right here, and then for this part right here, you would need your sand, a mix of, again, 2 parts black sand and then 1 part gray sand to make it look like a tarmac. See, the bottom part is quite simple. It's a continuous design from the steps. Okay, so for the next part, you would have to make a DIY design for the back part or the background of the display case. Again, we have cut that piece from the start like so it would fit like that. And besides the steps, this is one of the more complicated parts of this DIY, but for this one you would have to measure a section of this. You would have to measure 152 millimeters from the bottom part of the cartolina. Just again make some markers. Okay, now that we've marked all the way to the length of the cartolina paper, 152 millimeters, we'll just draw a line across those guides. And voila, you already have that guide right there. So this would be the upper part of the background. And then from this line, you would need to measure 50 millimeters. Again, just draw a guide all throughout and then draw a line. Okay, now that we have our guidelines right here, again, this part is the top part and this is the bottom part. So for the top part, you'll be drawing crowds. Yes, like people, just simple drawings of people, not a lot of details because that would take so much time. It would take so much time just doing just simple people designs. But yeah, we would need to have at least an arm stretching out, like, you know, cheering crowds. Just a basic silhouette of them. I don't know if you could see it, but just draw that simple humanoid figure like so, just cheering. You could put like a flag, like they would bring a flag right here, or some, placards. You can also draw that. But the idea is to fill this space with those crowd designs. Okay, I have my design on the side. I'll show you guys. It's right here. Look at that. They're so cute, right? So you would need your colored pencil to color these in. So the flesh color, of course, would be for the arms, the faces and stuff, and then you could go crazy with the shirts and the pants. But for the other part is we draw like 50 cm right here, right? So you would need the foam here. And for this foam, this would be like a barrier, like between the crowd and this design right here. Because on this part, you would also need your fence, your miniature fence, like so. Like that. And then the crowds will be in the fences, like so. Can you see the vision, you guys? It looks so cool in my idea, in my mind. It looks so cool. But this part right here, let me just put this to the side. You would need to paint it with white. I would suggest to have 3 layers of white just to make sure that everything would be quite opaque, not that opaque, but have all of these holes and pores right here filled in, just to be ready for the gray part, because you would be matching the color of the fences right here. That's why I was kind of debating if I should just do silver, but the gray makes it look like concrete. So a concrete block would be supporting the fences. So let me paint this with white. Again, you'll need to have your brush, and just like how we paint all of the parts, just 1 stroke each. Paint every single part of it. Have 1 layer, make it dry, and then put another layer. Again, 3 layers is what I would suggest. Okay, so here is the foam part that's already painted white. As you can see, this would make it so much easier for the gray to show up. Basically, this design right here. Oh, I forgot. I think you can already tell, but I've already outlined all my people design with my gel pen right here. I used 0.5 gel pen. It is so much time, but it's so cute again. But just to have like a summary, this is right here, the barrier, and this would be painted gray. This would be the gate or the fence, and then you would need to have those last 2 pieces of grass right here. I know they are longer than they should be. That's expected because I don't want it to be shorter than it should be. So I could just cut this out. But basically, this is the design. Again, grass to the sides. And then this front part right here would be the tarmac. Again, a mix of black and gray sand. And I think you can imagine the design already. But I'm quite excited to show you the finished product. And now we're back. So hopefully you guys were able to follow along the steps that I've provided and it was clear enough. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I'm gonna show you guys the finished product. But before that, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I saw the design and I thought it needed more oomph or like more design. So I added some designs to it. And it's specifically for the roads or like the steps and the base, I guess, of the display case. So I saw it and it was, it was looking like a tarmac, but it was looking so plain for my taste. So I did some steps off camera, you guys, but this is what I did. These are some stencils that I've made for the additional designs that I put into the base and the steps. So first, these were the designs or the stencils that I made for the steps themselves. So I just measured the length and the height of the steps, like at the top of the steps. So I thought about like they're in the starting line because that's where the crowds are, the cheering crowds. So when they are starting, they must be in their own lanes, right? So that's why I made these lanes right here. So the cars would go on these spaces right here. And these diagonal lines, I made sure to make them 55 degrees angle. So 55 degrees, as you can see. And then the measurement for this one is I measured the figures. So each figures, like if the figure is quite wide, so I made sure to have a wider lane for them. For here, as you can see, it is a more smaller lanes here. There are 4 lanes here, and this is like 3 lanes. And this is for the base, you guys, like the base of the display case. And I made a lot of lanes. But the most important part is the first one, the first lane right here, because that's what will be showing when the stairs are already here. So these are added designs already. But yeah, these lanes right here are the most important ones. And again, 55 degrees for the slant lines. And for this one, you guys, I know it's quite nasty, but there's already dirt around it. But I made sure to have masking tape on all of the lines to make sure that when I stick this on the base or these on the steps, as you can see, they will not rise up because I need them to be steady as possible so that my lines would be as clean as possible. It's not as clean as I wanted them to be, but as clean as I can. All right, what are you waiting for? I'll show you guys the final design. So here it is, you guys. These are the major pieces of the display case, and I'm so happy how they turned out. I'll show you guys one by one. Let's start with the simple design of the top part of the display case. So for this one, we just wanted to mimic like a cloud or like a sky moment. So this is the sky blue cartolina paper enforced by the thick poster paper that we got, the white poster paper. So, but yeah, it's not as clean as I wanted it to be. Again, I have struggled with this shape of the light with all of my DIY projects. But this is acceptable for me. And then we're gonna go with the background, which is so exciting. Look at that, you guys. So this top part, you guys, the crowd part, took me hours and hours and hours of drawing. I had to draw it on pencil, outline it with the gel pen, and then color it in with the colored pencil. But again, I'm so happy how it turned out, you guys. It turned out just like how I imagined it to be. And this is the foam part, the one that we painted gray. And then this is the miniature fence that we got from the Orange app. It looks so cute. It was kind of boarding to like a NASCAR because they have fences like these, but you know, I like it. I like the design. And for this right here is to mimic the steps right here. I'll show you guys later, but this is like the tarmac and then the grass sides right here. It looks so cool, you guys. Look at that. And then now I'll show you guys the most exciting part, the steps and the base. So let's start with the steps right here. Look at that. It looks so cute, you guys. And I have the battery packs right here. I have connected these manually on my own, and the wires are so so thin. I don't know if you could see it, but look at that. The wires are so thin, you guys. And with my big hands, I struggled. I really struggled, but I'm so happy. They are functioning, they light up, and I'll show you guys in the showcase later how they turn on. But look at that. The tarmac was just black. That's why I came up with the designs to have like lanes. And then as you can see, there are numbers there. I know there's no numbers with the lanes in F1, but I just wanted to, you know, drive home the idea that it is lanes, because it was looking like the regular lines in a regular road. And it was also looking like a parking lot, but they are like that, not like straight head on, because the figures are like, they look better if they are like on sideways for a bit. So yeah, look at that. It turned out so cute. And these barriers right here break the, you know, monotonous black of the roads, and they look so cute. And then the bottom part, you guys. I was surprised how beautiful this turned out. I was kind of scared with the stencils that I made, but as you can see, it turned out so well. These are all of the lanes. I know these two lanes right here won't be visible as much, but again, you guys, the devil is in the details. Details. If you know me, I love my details. Even though it's not showing at this point, it will show up somewhere when it is like shown. So I designed everything, even in the back. And look at that. And besides the stencils, you guys, it was kind of hard, or it took me some time to get used to the stamps for the numbers, because they are used for like inks, you know, and stamping them. But I used paint, like the white paint. So it took some practice for them to show up quite clear. Some of them not as much, but it's good for me. But again, you guys, it looks so cute. And then I'll be putting all of this together and putting in all of the figures, and I'm so excited for you guys to see all of them in there. They look so cute in there. Again, yeah, I'll be putting all of this together and I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, again, I am so happy how this turned out. It's another successful DIY project, and again, hopefully you guys were able to follow along, and please try to recreate this and comment down below if you're recreating this. I would love to know, and I would like to know if you guys enjoy these videos. It's another successful time where I unleash my creative side, but yeah, as long as I unbox my series figures, I will try to create a DIY display case for them. I really enjoyed making this and making this video for you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's video. And please don't forget to click the subscribe button and click the notification bell button so that you would be notified for future videos. Share this to all of your friends, your titos, your titas, your grandmoms, your granddads, everyone. Alright, that's it. Bye!